Godzilla put the beat on. Godzilla put the beat on.
It be that R, it be that A, it be that I, our defense bang. It be that E, it be that R, it be that S. On our chest that got us far. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders. Just wanna be that hater. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders. Give me a stack, I'ma turn it to some rags. LA didn't wanna give us a home, but LV got us on the map. That be a fact, I fed it all on silver and black. Hard Carson and Mad Max got me Emmett. I've been down since the 90s. You don't want the black hole, homie, don't try me. Raiders roll deep, some say that we grind me. But we bring the revenue every time we grind in third and some and Wallace gone. Renfro caught it and now he's spinning. Mariota on third, he's sprinting. R.I.P. Madden, Al Davis, and all of the Raiders fans that we lost since the beginning. It be that R, it be that A, it be that I, our defense bang. It be that E, it be that R, it be that S on our chest that got us far. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders. Just wanna be the hater. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Just win, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fan Talk Friday. Appreciate you guys in the building with me. Man, got a good panel today. I do got to say, my boy, MC Raider, he had something to come up, so he will not be able to join us. But as usual, I always got a good panel. That's what we do. But thank you guys for joining me on this Friday. Welcome to Fan Talk Friday. We got some stuff to talk about. Let's get it. All right. Welcome to Fan Talk Friday. It's your boy Chris, where my opinions might not always be popular, but they'll always be authentic. Man, let's get started. Let's just jump right into it. Hey, I got my boy all the way from Australia over the pond. My boy AR, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Good morning, or what's morning for me? Good evening to you and everyone in the States in the chat feed. I see you all. Pleasure to be here. Happy to repay the favor that you did for me coming onto my show on Thursday morning. So, yeah, here I am.
For sure, man. I definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you here, man. One thing about you, man, I know that we'll kind of get into your story a little bit, how you became a Raider fan from out there, but I know you really love that same era that I love, like that Tom Cable, Hugh Jackson, Darren McFadden era, like that. We weren't good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Got that Richard Seymour. That's the one you just got too, didn't you?
Yeah. My very first Raider memory was Richard Seymour playing that Monday Night Football hot off the trade from the Patriots. Him getting in the backfield, stacking Phil Rivers and putting all kinds of pressure. I've got good memories of Richard Seymour. So that's my guy.
That's my guy for sure. Man, and also got my boy, the Raider Rundown in the building. It's my brother. We also gonna do our live show tomorrow when we watch the game together, man. So definitely tap in for us. Rundown, what's up, buddy?
Man, what's going on with y'all, man? Appreciate you for sliding me in here so quickly, man. It's nice to meet you too, bro. AR, man, it's nice to meet you. Always good to meet some fellow Raider fans. I'm seeing some people that I'm always used to seeing in the chats, man. So let's get this conversation going, man.
Oh, for sure. The Shield Squad in the building, man. Always got that
rundown.
Yeah, let's see. Got the Shield Squad in the building. My girl Queen V in the building, as always. Shout out my boy Randy in the building. What's going on, Randy?
What's the deal, baby?
My dog. Got Jesse in the building. What's going on, Jesse? My boy Day from Columbus. That's my dog. Thanks for coming through, man. Sun Goddess, how you doing? Friday blessings to you as well, Queen.
My boy Tony.
Oh, man. Got him
in here. Gang in here, right?
got Tony in the building. What's going on,
Tony? What's the deal with you, man?
Yep. So, man. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about, man. So, actually, before we get started, though, AK, I do want, I kind of know your story because I've talked to you before, and I've been on some of your shows and I actually seen some of your shows. I've been a fan of what you do, but just being from Australia, man, how did you become a Raiders fan? Because people ask me that all the time, me being from Ohio, right, and then you being from Australia. How did you become a fan, man? I'm curious to know.
All right, well, my testimony, I'll try and make it short and sweet. So, being born in Australia, I can't say I was born into this. You know what I mean? I just had to find my way, so to say. So I started watching American football back in 2008, and once I started to learn the game and get into it, I was like, all right, well, I need a team. You know what I mean? So, I was looking around, and you got your teams that everybody seems to like. Your Cowboys, your Packers, all those teams that were popular at the time. I didn't want to go that route, and I was just like, all right, well, what team is for me? What team gravitates to my life, to my personality? And I remember before the 2009 season started, I watched a documentary. It was the top 50 rivalries in sport, and the number one was the Raiders against the world. And I watched that documentary, and they talked about the Raider way, the Al Davis way, the glory days of the 80s, and how they were the bad guys, the outcasts, the rejects of football. And, they made it work. And I just watched that, and just something just clicked. I was like, you know what? I resonate with that. Like something in here, you know what I mean? And, my very first game was watching the Raiders playing the Chargers Monday Night Football back in 2009. And, I was just talking about Richard Seymour. I just watching the game and seeing like the scenes of the Coliseum, especially when Richard Seymour got that sack and everybody in the crowd just went buck wild. It was there and then that consecrated. I was just like, yeah, that's the one. I'm a Raider for life, and I've been a Raider for life since then. So it's been a rough ride, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? It's not just a saying; it's a way of life for me. Raider Nation for life.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's my story.
No, that's fire, man. I mean, because especially because you didn't get a chance to really see him on TV much there, so you had to pretty much look for him and seek him out, man. So that's You know,
well, we do have Game Pass, so I once I started to realize that like I'm not going to get much Raider football over here on my normal cable service. They're too busy playing the Patriots and the Cowboys, all those teams I couldn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
You know, I had just Game Pass. But I have been to Oakland in 2019. I was able to fulfill a lifelong dream, coming to the Coliseum before they moved to Vegas and watching the Raiders play with my own two eyes. I actually sat in the black hole behind Gorilla.
That's fire.
That's another story.
That's fire.
That's fire, man. Rundown, how you doing, man? You all right?
Hey, doing well over here, man. You know, I'm getting my live festivities going over here. You know what I'm on.
Oh yeah, man. You've been working too, man. You've been working.
I've been trying, bro. I've been trying back and forth, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love love seeing that grind, man. Definitely keep that up, man.
Oh yeah.
But man,
I got to dip out for a second. I got a family thing.
No problem.
I'll be right back.
But shout out to my boy Leo, man. My boy Leo.
Yeah, Cancun.
Leo he's in Cancun right now on vacation.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to that level though. I'm gonna get to that level. Leo, you enjoy it though. Live it up.
Oh yeah, he got his feet in the sand right now, man. Probably sipping a drink with a umbrella in it, man.
Something fancy. You know, I got something fancy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's see who else is in the chat, man. Got a couple new names. Teskey Fresh. Let's see what's up, Protective Shield Clan. What's going on? Thank you for stopping through. Got Raider Ben in the building, man. What's going on, Raider Ben? Appreciate you.
Raider Ben, seen you a couple times. What's going on?
Aces, what's going on? Just subscribe. Much love. Thank you, Ace, for subscribing.
Hey,
got my boy in the building, the ultimate Raider fan 32, my boy Terrence. You know, hopefully he slides through our show tomorrow, man. Give us some of that good live.
Oh yeah,
content.
We need that again for sure.
Yeah, that was for sure. Yep. So yeah, definitely, man. Got some more people. Yes, I appreciate everybody that's in the building, man. But let's get started with you, man. So one thing I want to ask the chat. So Trey Lance got traded today for a 4th round pick, and I know it's not really Raider related. You know, when we talk about Trey Lance,
right?
But I got a question because I was talking to my homie about it, and he brought up a good point. So if Trey Lance, if he doesn't become a full-time starter anywhere, would he overtake Jamarcus Russell as the biggest bust of all time?
See, look, and I've been seeing people say that, like, "Oh, this is the biggest bust in the NFL." I still think Jamarcus is.
You think,
bro? So let's keep in mind I am pretty young, but at the end of the day,
yeah, you're young, man.
The way it went down, though, like, you know, just and for Trey Lance, I don't think his problem was work ethic or anything like that. You know what I mean? I think I said this in my live with you, Spicy Girl, whatever. I think, you know, most of it is the 49ers organization to blame too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they didn't manage him the way they should have managed him. Now with Jamarcus, we put all the chips to the table, and we was like, all right, like, this is the guy. You feel what I'm saying? So, and for him to blatantly do what he did, you feel what I'm saying, not work, watch zero film. He's almost as bad as Manziel. I don't know if you watched the Johnny Manziel documentary, but he was like, yeah, I watched zero film. That's the same thing with Jamarcus. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, he set us up for failure for sure. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like we're barely getting out of that whole Jamarcus shit. Honestly, like, I mean, it was kind of done with the Derek Carr thing, but at the end of the day, like, it took us a while to get over that, though. Like, the 49ers can bounce back still.
Man, I don't know, man. I get all that. Like, the whole Jamarcus Russell thing is crazy.
Yeah.
But, bro, when you look at this, though, like, when you look at this,
it's bad.
This is nasty work right here.
It's bad.
This is nasty work right here, man.
That's bad. But then it's like, who do you blame? Do you blame him? Because at the end of the day,
no, you can't blame him. No, you can't blame him. I mean, you know, honestly, I almost look at that like when we got Cleve Farrell.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, Farrell was, you know, somebody that had no business being drafted where he was drafted.
Correct.
And that's probably the same for Trey Lance at the end of the day. But I'm just like, come on, though. But when you look at this, though, we talking about they traded 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And that became Waddle, Hill, and Brown.
All of those are starters. All of those are starters.
Not on starters, but that literally is that changes the whole trajectory of your organization, man.
Yeah. And
wow.
It's like, okay, at the end of the day, you're right. to me personally, when in that whole draft process, I was saying I wouldn't have picked Trey Lance that high, right? But the 49ers sat there and was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We feel like we can develop him. So it's like, at the end of the day, Trey Lance didn't get asked to get picked that high. Y'all,
but still,
you know, this is what's going to happen.
But I mean, but even with Jamarcus, I mean, there was a lot of debate whether it should be Jamarcus or Brady Quinn. They both end up sucking that year.
Exactly.
And to be honest, the reason I think Jamarcus really got it because he dogged Brady Quinn in that, what was a Sugar Bowl?
Like he did, huh?
They beat him. I mean, he did his thing, man. But I don't know, man. I always thought Jamarcus was going to always be the biggest bust, but when you really look at this, man,
if I'm not mistaken, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Was the Jamarcus Russell trade the one with the Jamarcus Russell pick, was that the one with Adrian Peterson and Calvin Johnson?
Yeah, Calvin Johnson was the very next pick. That was apparently Lane Kiffin wanted to draft Calvin Johnson. But Al Davis went the other route. We drafted Jamarcus Russell, and that was one of the things that caused the rift between the two.
And this is why I'm saying that he might be a bigger bust. I mean, if you look at who's after Jamarcus, you're like, dear God, like what were y'all thinking?
Yeah,
I try not to look at it, but like at the same time, though, like hindsight is all good and great now. Correct. You know what I mean? All the intangibles were there from the outside looking in. That
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like he should be the next big thing. And at the time, there wasn't so much awareness when it comes to mental health and all that. So, you know what I mean? Like these days, I'm sure they do more due diligence looking at that stuff now. Back then, you know, and even having conversation with a guy like Stu, you know, Stu's, you know, he's been in the league. He knows pretty much the ins and outs. Like he can attest to that. There was pretty much no real, you know, focus on mental health. So
yeah,
it's all good and great looking back now and saying it's a bust, and it was. But at the time, you know, we could have all seen it as being like, you know, yeah, surefire. He's the next big thing and what should have been the great franchise quarterback that we were looking for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because honestly, I can't lie. Because during that draft, I wanted him, and I would have been mad if we didn't get him that night. You know, because there was a lot of debate of we may get Brady Quinn, but it's just like, man, I don't know, man.
Who was the quarterback already? Like, what was the? I don't remember that.
Who was?
Wasn't that the guy, Kerry Collins or Brooks? Wasn't he our quarterback?
Was it Aaron Brooks?
It was before my time, but I think it was one of those guys, Kerry Collins or Aaron.
It could have been Kerry Collins. It could have been.
I don't even know who that is. So
it was before my time. I'm having to think, like, and when I do my research, because I came into Raider football at the end of Jamarcus.
I know Randy will know, and Charles Washington will know. They'll tell us.
Randy gonna know. Randy gonna know.
Yeah, they'll tell us in a second. But yeah, I can't remember, but whoever it was, it was bad.
I don't think it was Bruce Gradkowski. I think he came in after. He was
Brooks came after.
Like, I don't know who that is.
Aaron Brooks. Yeah, it probably was Aaron Brooks.
That's what Randy Aaron Brooks. Yep.
So, yeah, it was. I can't lie. I was. You know, I wasn't too mad at the Jamarcus, but I didn't realize he was that lazy. Because you know the crazy thing, you hear all the stories, and I'm not sure if you guys if everyone had a chance to listen to my interview with Bruce Gradkowski, but he told me a crazy story about on that year that he got there when they were trying to get because they didn't want to give up on Jamarcus Russell just yet, but they were saying like Hugh Jackson used to like run with like when they would be doing like team runs and stuff, like Hugh Jackson would have to run next to Jamarcus Russell to make sure he's running.
Boy, that wouldn't even go down in the NFL. Wouldn't even go down.
Have you heard the story from I think it was Kirk Morrison about the tapes?
Yeah,
the tape and the rookie. You know when they have that rookie challenge and everyone brings their talent.
Money.
His talent was throwing money in the air, and Kirk Morrison was saying like while he was picking up like all the $100 bills, he was thinking in his mind, "This guy ain't it."
It was a gangster move, but at the end of the day, you feel like
you want a gangster or do you want a professional player?
Exactly, you feel what I'm saying?
And not only did he do it, he did it after he held out all that time too. That made it even worse.
Okay, there you go.
It made it even worse, man. I'm like, come on.
See, I don't know how you can say that Trey Lance is worse than Jamarcus, bro. Jamarcus was doing.
I mean, it's just for what they gave up for him. Like we just, if you think we just picked the wrong guy, or actually we just had the first pick overall in the wrong class. I would say, if there was like a class before or class after, we probably would have been in better shape. But
or
I mean,
just
if
had
you
like
think about it, there was no quarterbacks in that draft class.
Nah, yeah, it was more receiver, running back, stuff like that.
It's like I said though, we needed a quarterback at the time.
We did.
So on paper, looking from the outside, looking in, not able to see what's going on upstairs and knowing the future, you could argue it was the right move at the time. It's like I said, we can look back at it now and see it for the huge bust that it is. But at a time when a team, what's the first thing you need? You know what I mean? Is a franchise
gotta have that,
with that number one pick, you got to swing for the fences, and it just failed in epic proportions, unfortunately.
Correct.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let's see who else we got in the chat. We got let's see, all eyes on G.com. What's going on? Jamarcus needed a babysitter. He was not lying. That is so true. That is so true. Charles Washington. What was Al Davis thinking? Crazy.
He was swinging for the fences.
Jesse, you blame the media for overhyping these quarterbacks. Yeah, again, I mean, I think AK hit it on the mark though. It was just like we needed a quarterback that just so happened was there. He was a guy.
There were no quarterbacks in that draft. Like,
was Aaron Rodgers part of that draft class?
No, he wasn't part of that draft. No, but the thing is, Kiffin wanted to trade for Aaron Rodgers though, because that's when Aaron Rodgers was still at the Packers.
Yeah,
sitting on the bench while Favre was there.
So you mean to tell me Lane Kiffin wanted to draft Calvin Johnson and he wanted to trade for Aaron Rodgers? Are you kidding me?
That is why I never let Lane Kiffin slander come around, and like everyone is well documented. Everyone will talk crazy about Lane, but I'm like, bro, if Lane had a chance to do what he wanted, so Lane basically said, "Screw this." When Al Davis did what he did, you can't blame him because at the time, Lane Kiffin was the youngest coach at the time. He came from a winning organization in USC.
Right.
I mean, honestly,
I'll tell you. I'll give you a take. If we had Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Johnson on that 2011 Raiders team, alongside the likes of McFadden,
that's what I'm saying.
Top 15-ish defense, Denarius Moore, that ragtag group of wide receivers, Zach Miller, Nami, we would have
gone. Kobe Ford on that team too?
That's a dynasty waiting to happen. That's a dynasty waiting to happen.
Those are the two things we needed: was a number one wide receiver and a proper franchise quarterback. Jason Campbell was good until he got hurt. Carson Palmer to me wasn't it. But if we had Aaron Rodgers and Calvin Johnson on that team, we would have been almost unstoppable.
That's
McFadden was my guy too. McFadden was definitely my guy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he got.
I remember our defense was pretty decent back then too. We had the likes of Seymour, Asamoah, Houston, Tommy Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we had players.
The safeties, Huff, Stanford Route. Like, those are just some of the names. We weren't like top tier, but we were pretty decent.
We had some players.
You know what I mean?
We had some players.
Yeah,
Shout out Spicy Raider Girl. But yeah, Boyd, what's going on? But yeah, it's tough, man. That's why I never let no Lane Kiffin slander happen, man. Because everyone. But then again, we are the Raiders. So would Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers if he went to the Raiders? So
that's a good question.
We could have messed him up, honestly. We could have messed him up.
You never know how. I mean, when you look at Calvin Johnson, though, I mean, although he did have Matthew Stafford, but at the end of the day, Detroit wasn't much better than we were. He was still doing his thing. You know what I mean?
No, Calvin Johnson would have been a beast.
He's still gonna do his thing.
Would have had to give him the ball.
Yeah, he did his thing regardless in Detroit. Yeah, he had Stafford throwing to him, but they've been just as dysfunctional of a franchise as us, and he was able to get it done. I mean. For me, I would say yes. Aaron Rodgers would have. Look, I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan of him personally, but I can see I know greatness when I see it, and he is great. He is all-time great, and he would find a way to get it done, even in a dysfunctional franchise such as the Raiders at the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, honestly, it's just sickening. Like I said, whenever people talk about Lane Kiffin, like I don't care, man, because I really like that would have changed us. You know, I mean, I don't even want to think about it. It's pissing me
Right.
off. but
Right.
but yeah, so but I don't know. But AK, so I don't know if you I know you had to step away for a second, but so I asked a question. If Trey Lance ever becomes a full-time starter anywhere, would he overtake Jamarcus Russell as the biggest bust of all time?
I guess when you look at it like from how much draft capital they gave away, I mean, forgive me, I don't watch too much football outside of Raider football, but forgive me if I'm mistaken, but it's not a case of like off the field issues with Trey Lance. He's just not able to get it done from a performance standpoint, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, nothing going on. Like he's not, messing
Nah,
up.
he's
off
not like
the
that.
field, doing all kinds
Nah,
of
it's just a field thing. It's just a field stuff.
So I'd probably say no, being that like Jamarcus had the God-given talent. The reason why he was drafted number one, and because of his like mentally he just wasn't it. He wasn't able to get it done. Whereas a guy like Trey Lance, it seems to me like, I mean, he's not like, he doesn't have that mental problem that maybe Jamarcus Russell had. He just doesn't have the skill set to succeed.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna still run with Jamarcus Russell. But with that said, you know what? If it ain't Raider football, I don't care. And it pleases me to see dysfunction at the 49ers.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yes. Nick Bosa not even under either. Nick Bosa still not there.
Yeah, because imagine if we would have did this. They would have crucified us forever.
Oh my God.
They would have crucified us forever if we made this kind of blunder, man. So
they still crucify us for the Henry Ruggs thing. They still do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
Damon on that.
Yeah.
Well, we deserve to get crucified for that. Yeah, we deserve that. I'm not gonna lie.
James Furpo, what's going on? Thank you for stopping through. Let's see what else we got in here. Let's see. Cool Kev shouting out Spicy. Got my boy Anthony. My boy, I call him Drizzy, man. He looked just like Drake, man. But he said, don't need franchise quarterback if you invest in D. He got Tampa Bay, Ravens, and Niners last week.
Tampa Bay had Tom Brady, and the Niners ain't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy. Charles Washington. I've been saying it for years. If you let the media do your homework on these players, your team will always pick early. No, I agree. You got to do your homework, man.
Yes, sir.
So you got to make sure you know what's going on upstairs.
Yeah.
Like, me, it brings it back to this year's draft. Remember, we passed on Jalen Carter, and I'm going to trust, a guy who a lot of people see as the next big thing on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm going to trust that this coaching regime, the front office regime, Ziegler, McDaniels did their extensive research enough on the guy to say, you know what, we can't afford to swing with this guy because he just ain't it mentally, and maybe it might turn out to be right.
For sure. And plus, when you think about it, I mean, they come from that Patriots, cloth. So one thing about the Patriots, though, like as they actually have their full culture established, they don't mind bringing in some of those head cases because they already have the culture established. Like, they didn't mind getting some of those guys later on because you already got the, Brady's there, and you had the Richard Seymour, you had that core nucleus there, but we're not there yet.
And that's what I've been saying, since the draft. Everybody kept killing me because I was making videos saying, like, let's pump the brakes on it. Because it's like, at the end of the day, we don't have that type of culture. Now, in a couple of years, who knows, we might be able to swing like that. But let's not act like they just picked a scrub either. Like, they didn't pick like a scrub this year. They picked a freak. At the end of the day, if you look at him in pass, this guy looks crazy in pass. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah,
Wilson is the safe pick. Like I've said it before on a few of our previous podcasts we shared together. We're just not in a position to take that kind of risk with a guy like Jalen Carter. Unfortunately, the Eagles were in that position. They can afford to miss. We can't afford. How many times have we missed on first round picks in the last few years?
Cannot afford.
You know what I mean? Ruggs, Arnett, Leatherwood, Farrell. We cannot afford to miss again. You know what I mean? Whereas the Eagles, if they swing for the fences and they miss, is it a big deal? Not really.
And even to think deeper, it's like they have his former teammates on that team.
Yeah, who knows? Former roommate. Someone that's gonna say, "Hey, Jalen, get your shit together, man.
And
And
that's
he's gonna
an
listen to him.
unknown
And he's
factor.
gonna
Most
listen
people don't even think about, right? You
Right.
know, people don't even think about that. It's like they drafted your boy last year, 2 guys from Georgia last year, and then I think 2 more this year. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, they have a culture and people for him to be successful. That's what it's going to be.
It's just a gamble we cannot afford to make.
Exactly.
I agree.
And I think we made the right call not
Me too.
taking that risk and going with a safe pick that hopefully turns out to be maybe better. You know,
Right.
time will tell.
Who
Let's see.
knows? Yeah, who knows?
And the thing is, he can I mean, not that he's gonna red shirt, but like I think he has a perfect person to shadow, you know, to show you how to be a pro that's kind of built like you a little bit in Chandler Jones. But
Yes. Yes.
someone that can show you how to do certain moves, because at the end of the day, you know, Wilson, if he learns that hand-to-hand combat that you know that Chandler really knows, you know,
Already
he
with the
just
strength, bro.
may not have that explosion anymore. But you know, you take that's upstairs from Chandler and give that to this freak athlete, it could get
It's over.
nasty.
It's
And,
over.
get
and there's
nasty.
no pressure for him to come back early and risk
Exactly.
hurting himself more because the pressure's there for him to perform now. You know,
There we go.
we've got guys in the room starting at end that can get it done just until he's ready. Let's ease. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm imploring patience with Wilson and I'm going to show it.
Yeah.
Just ease your way in, learn like a sponge from guys like Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. You know what I mean? And in time, I'm sure when his number gets called, when he's ready to roll, he at the very least he can be the Robin to Max Crosby Batman. Best case scenario, we got Batman, Superman on that off defensive line.
And hey, bro, I like this guy. You hitting it right on the head, bro. You saying the right thing.
Thank you,
bro. I'm just at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. And what I love about this Raiders regime, although we drafted a lot of guys that's going to play this year, most of the high draft picks and most of the draft picks we got, there ain't too much pressure on them. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Even Aiden O'Connell, he don't even have to start this year. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and we see some good
Learn the
things.
game. Learn how to be a pro.
Bro, Trey Tucker, Byron Young, the only one that got some pressure on him, and we need to see it right away, is Ja'Cory Bennett. That's the only one that
But
has.
even him though,
Michael Myers as well.
And Mayer too.
Mayer has pressure.
Mayer's the one.
Mayer has
I'd
pressure.
say he has
I'm
the
on
highest
Mayer's ass.
expectation of our rookies to
I'm on his
perform now.
ass.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, man. Mayer better ball.
But I think he's gonna live up to some of that expectation, bro. I really do. I'm not gonna cap to you.
He better.
I think that some of these teams kind of fucked up passing on him a little bit. Now, I think the Bills might have got the second best tight end in the draft with the Kincaid, but at the end of the day, I think this guy gonna be real. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Spotlight Darian at Nothing But Raiders podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to my boy Darian. I actually do a show with him every Tuesday. That's
I'm already old.
My dog. But so, you know, speaking of Aiden O'Connell, so, you know, as we saw, so Aiden O'Connell, he has 125.2 passer rating so far in the preseason. I'm super excited for the boy. He's really been doing well. But are we jumping the gun with the excitement for him, or is it valid? What do you guys think?
I'll let my man go first.
Thank you, Rundown, but I want to hear your takes first.
Honestly, to me, because I got that PTSD. I always say it on my channel. We got that Raider PTSD. 24/7, you know, we believe in people, and you know, we just got to see it on the field. But the thing I was shouting from the first game was I need to see consistency. So 2 games already, he's shown me consistently that he's accurate and he's placed the ball in places. Yes, he has things to work on. But at the end of the day, I've seen things from him because I've been watching around the NFL. You watch the other rookie quarterbacks just to see how your boy is stacking up. At the end of the day, I've seen he's light years ahead of some of these other rookies that has been picked before him. At the end of the day, and he got picked in the perfect system for him. That was what I was saying when he got drafted. This is the perfect system for him to be in. At the end of the day, this fits his skill sets perfectly. He can do what he normally does. You feel what I'm saying? He's not going to be asked to do too much. I think, you know, we got ourselves at least somebody who can come in and one day be a starter. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I know, you know, what I say is stuff that a lot of people say because we all see it, but it's just that poise that he has, man. It's just, you know, you don't see him getting rattled. I mean, it's like you know, I mean, he steps up in the pocket. I mean, we all hear about how much of, you know, how unathletic he is. But the dude stepped up in the pocket and ran for a first down. I wish our previous quarterback would have did that sometime. You know what I'm saying? Like step up and run, you know, just get the first down and get out of there. You know, you don't got to be Mike Vick or anything, but just having someone with pocket presence. And again, you know, it's a preseason, but all we can judge is what's in front of you, you know, so we can say it's only preseason, but that's all he has to show, you know. So when he gets under the big lights with Devontae on one side and Jacoby Myers on the other side, then who knows what this guy's going to do. If he has Jacobs behind him, who knows? And
I'm gonna say this before, and I'm gonna shut up. But at the end, we saw him too take some licks too. At the end of the day, like we saw him stand in the pocket, still deliver an accurate ball and take a shot. You feel what I'm saying? Multiple times we've seen that, and that's some toughness shit that can't really coach at the end of the day. You feel what I'm saying? That's some shit. It's like, okay, I see you got some nuts about you at least. You know what I mean?
And then again, you know, just like AK always says, you know, it's a mental. You know, where is he at mentally? The fact that he missed through that first pass, so it would have been a for sure touchdown in the last preseason game. He didn't get rattled. What'd he do? He just threw strike after strike right after that, man. But AK, what do you think, man?
Poise, confidence, didn't panic under pressure, very accurate with his throwing, and very good and efficient with his decision making. There is a lot to like there, and there's a reason why he was the highest rated QB in preseason. I mean, look, I'm not. Sorry, 1 moment. See ya. Sorry, I was just talking to my mom. Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to your mom. Okay, mom.
Sorry, I got lost in thought. Okay, Aiden O'Connell. There's a lot to like. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, come out and say he's the next big thing. He's, you know, the next coming of whoever our greatest quarterbacks may be. You know, the next coming of Kansas Stabler or whatever. But like, there's a lot of encouragement. It's very positive to finally have a young rookie quarterback in the room that we can see that's gonna, you know, that has at the very least quite a bright future. You know what I mean? Like, there's no pressure on him to be the guy at the moment. You know, it's Jimmy G's job unless he doesn't get it done or he goes down injured. But Aiden O'Connell's in a very good situation at the moment, and there's tools around him that should ensure that he should be able to succeed if and when his number gets called. So there's definitely have something there with O'Connell, and it's very good to see. It's like I said, like the last time we had a young rookie quarterback in the room that we get excited for by seeing their performances in preseason was, you know, hate to bring him up again, but Derek Carr back in 2014 when he balled out and actually won the job over the likes of Matt Schaub, who was supposed to be the guy at the time. I don't see that happening. I think we're still going to roll with Jimmy G, and hopefully he's going to be efficient enough to get the job done and make the job his own. And then Aiden O'Connell has time to just sit there, wait in the wings, wait until his number is called. And when his number is called, I'm sure he's going to get it done. I like what I see from him.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I mean, honestly, we're taking the old school approach, because if you think, you know, nowadays they expect these quarterbacks to come in and just start balling immediately, you know, but for the longest time, you know, you would sit, you know, like the last real quarterback that kind of did that was Mahomes. He sit a year, maybe 2 years. I think 1 year, maybe after
Alex Smith.
Yeah. And then I mean, and I guess Jalen Hurts, he kind of sat a little. He sat as well.
He did.
But for the most part, you know, they expect these young quarterbacks to come in, and a lot of times, I mean, unless you're like the you know, real top tier quarterbacks, it's just ready on day one. But I mean, you're not going to get that too often. So, you know, the fact that, you know, O'Connell, one thing good about him, he's known for his football IQ, his intellect. So, you know, those mental reps mean something for him. You know, him sitting on the sideline with a clipboard, he's going to grow just from that. And a lot of people are upset with, you know, Brian Hoyer. They think we should just get rid of Brian Hoyer, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, I think just having Hoyer there to continue to help this kid grow is only going to speed it up.
He's part of the reason that O'Connell's playing well.
Man, that's my point, man. But people want to cut him, man.
That's
I can't believe
it.
I'm one of them.
Oh, come on, man. I saw you smirk, man. Hold on.
He's part of the reason that O'Connell is playing well, bro. He's
tell me
on the sidelines. You feel
tell me why we need to cut him, man. I don't think we need to cut him.
with Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple for me. I just don't like what I see from him on the field. And like, look, if I'm gonna be honest, if he's there on our roster, and say the worst happens to Jimmy G,
Yeah,
and Aiden O'Connell, you know, if he's not ready or he's injured, he's unavailable, our next in line is Brian Hoyer. And if I'm going to be even more honest, if we play 4 games with Brian Hoyer, we'll be lucky to win one of them. That's why I don't want him on our roster.
Right. That's worst case scenario though. He's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, that was no, but I no, I get it. A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think if it depends on when Jimmy gets hurt. So, like, if we're talking about Jimmy gets hurt like within the first 4 weeks or so, then Hoyer's going to come in. But as time goes on, you got to realize Hoyer's getting this young kid ready, man. You know, like if Jimmy gets hurt like around week 8, I think O'Connell's going to be ready.
Isn't that what a coach is for?
Huh?
I mean, he's just taking a roster spot. I mean, isn't that what a coach is for, to get these players ready? Why do we need players?
But you got to think, but you got an individual tutor. I mean, that's just like
a player can do what a coach. A player can do more than a coach can do.
I mean, but that's just like saying that, okay, you know, someone that's learning something, you know, should just learn from the teacher. But you know, some people have tutors, you know, who are like specific for you. That's going to, you can ask those questions while the teacher's talking to the whole class. You got someone that you can talk to that can give you that detailed explanation. And I don't know, man. I mean, just,
you know, Jimmy G's that vet, right? I mean, he's been in the system before. Can't he be the guy? I mean, why do we need?
I mean, but you got to think he has to continue to learn himself. He hasn't been in the system for 7 years. I mean, to be honest, Hoyer's probably helping him out. If you think about it,
I get what you're saying. I'm just looking from a performance level, and I'm looking like you're there. You know, you've. I guess there is that part of you that I agree. Like maybe he is a good mentor for Aiden O'Connell and getting him up to speed and helping him out with his development. But at the same time, you're on the roster as a backup to play. And when I'm looking at it like that, if we shove him in there as our quarterback as a worst case scenario, my faith in him getting the job done is very, very slim.
Well, I'll put it like this: if he ever touches grass, then we're cooked anyway. Like we're cooked, like because that
surely there's a quarterback out there that can at least give us a better chance than Brian.
Maybe, but I mean, like at that point, you done lost Jimmy, you done lost O'Connell. It's like we're cooked at this point. Like, all right, like the season is pretty much wraps at that point. But I don't even think that's gonna happen. You feel what I'm saying? Like maybe Jimmy goes down, and from his history, he's probably gonna go down. But at the end of the day, I think regardless of whatever situation, I'm throwing him out there. If it's me, I'm going to throw him out there because it ain't no point. Like, say, right, he gets hurt within the first 4 weeks, but say the Raiders are 2-2 or the Raiders are 3-1, something like that, right? They're 2-2, 3-1. At that point, if you throw Brian Hoyer out there, like my man said, if we have 4 more games where Jimmy going to be out, we're going to be lucky to win one of them motherfuckers. But if Aiden O'Connell is in, I mean, like, we don't even know what the hell he is. You feel what I'm saying? We might as well find out now. Throw his ass in there.
I definitely want him in there. I just want him because honestly, it'd be different if Aiden didn't already show a little bit of, you know, that potential of being great. But I really don't think it was just him by itself. As much as I'm a Josh McDaniels fan, you know, and I always got his back for the most part. You know, I would love to say he's just a super quarterback guru and he just made O'Connell awesome, but I can't say that. I really think Hoyer has something to do with him being able to come out there and understand the offense. I mean, again, it's very vanilla at this point, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
He's running vanilla concepts and we ain't even seen the playbook opened up. And at the end of the day, the playmakers that he's going to be throwing to, like, come on now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what time it is when he goes out there. But at the end of the day, it's like we just might as well throw him into the fray, bro. Like that's just what it is for me. Because I think
fire.
You know, I done seen enough for me to be like, all right, well, shit. And like, you know, you alluded to earlier, most young quarterbacks are playing hella early. Like, and they're starting for their teams right now. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's what it is in the NFL. We're gonna have to see. You know what I'm saying? We can't baby him.
Yeah.
Just to answer Sun Goddess's comment, she was asking who on the panel expects Jimmy to get hurt this season. I'm trying not to entertain the thought. I don't want to speak.
Me neither. I haven't even
I'm just
about
spitballing as if he does, you know what I mean? Like I personally I would throw Aiden O'Connell out there and just see what happens. Look, if he doesn't get the job done, or if he loses, that's cool. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with losing, but like I'm not. He's a rookie, you know what I mean? Like he needs time, and the rest will help him learn. You know what I mean? So, best case scenario, hey, if he gets the job done, we got our future franchise quarterback. No,
right? and honestly, and the thing is, some players just play better when the lights are on anyway. Right. Like he may not even be the best practice player, but then when he comes in, I mean, he may even exceed our expectations even when the lights really come on.
Can I tell you this? And this is a little fun fact. And this is why I say I fuck with believing in him. When he was at Purdue, I don't know, y'all may know this, but they threw him out there one game when like 2 other quarterbacks done got hurt. So he had to start that week. That week, that motherfucker threw for 300 or like 500 yards or some shit. That week, and then he did not relinquish the job after that.
He was a walk-on, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, I
like
think it was walk-on
quarterback, bro. Like this, I have no problems if he has to walk up out there. He didn't shown out throughout the course of football career. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't really phase him. He's got that.
It goes to what I said about Aaron Rodgers. The great ones find a way to get it done.
Exactly.
I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is great yet.
We don't know. We don't know.
Hey, if he can find a way to get it done, from being a walk-on, a 4th-round draft pick, and playing better than these guys we drafted, and other teams drafted a lot higher than him. And if he can keep trending that way, if he can find a way to be great, then fantastic.
Yeah. And plus, Charles, with the rules, I mean, 17 games, you have to carry 3 quarterbacks. It's just smart business. I agree. I mean, because plus, I mean, does that 3rd quarterback even count against the 53? Since I thought with the COVID rule, you're allowed to carry a 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh yeah, you are allowed to carry a 3rd. Yeah, you are.
Is that still in effect though? Or was that just during the COVID period?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look back.
Everybody's carrying 3.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, everyone seems to say that it doesn't count against the 53-man roster, like having a 3rd quarterback.
Yeah,
I hope that's the case.
Yeah, if it doesn't, then we definitely should keep him. I mean, that should be, So I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel good where our quarterback room is. Granted, I mean, if Hoyer does have to come in, that definitely is a last resort. But but shout out to Hoyer for helping the young pup get ready. I will say that.
Yes.
I'll agree with that.
So now the last preseason game is tomorrow. So, we're looking to really solidify our roster. What are you guys looking for? Is there any certain like positions you're looking for closely? Anyone that's kind of on the bubble that you want to see how they perform? Me personally, the 3 positions I'm really looking at is the linebackers. I definitely want to see for some reason, I like Curtis Bolton, man. I like Curtis Bolton. I like Drake Thomas.
Yes.
I do want to watch more of Amari Burney. I know, Rundown, you know how I feel about Amari Burney.
Yeah,
I'm not
a fan.
more. He has to show me more, man. I'm not like him when I'm saying he's still young. Defensive tackle, Nesta Jade. I need him to really pop on film because I want him to make the team. Matthew Butler, I'm not a big fan of him. Neil Fair, I do like him. I like to see more. And then that defensive end, I'm a big Malcolm Kuntz guy.
Yeah.
Jordan Willis, he's really been popping out, and Isaac Rochelle's been popping out. So I think we got a couple position battles that caught my interest. What do you guys think?
Halfback, running back. I really want to see more from the likes of Zamir White and Sincere McCormick. I'm not impressed, and I'm not sold on moving forward with these guys.
Either.
I don't see them breaking tackles. I don't see them shaking anybody out of their boots. You know what I mean? The only holes I see them, the only gains I'm seeing them make is the ones that the offensive
wide open. They're wide open. He's not getting touched.
And even then, sometimes Zamir White struggles to find the right hole. So, man, I'm not impressed, and I want to see more. You know what I mean? Like if the worst happens, we go into the season without Josh Jacobs. I'm not sold on this running back.
And I hope we get into that later because I know that's your guy. But I hope that's a topic for later.
Oh, it's going to be a topic for me every week.
I have
you know that.
Are you talking about Josh Jacobs?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, like I'm done kind of talking about the Jacob situations. For me, it's just like I'm just going to wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like whatever will be, will be. But I'm talking about what we have right now. That's definitely going to be available on our roster. And that halfback room, I want to see them show out. Like I've been more confident with guys who've done less in the regular season in preseason from the likes of Chris Warren and Trey Regis. You know what I'm saying? Like recent names, like, and they didn't amount to much, if anything, when it came to the regular season.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I want to see more out of them. But I like your guys, like the linebacker room. Like I agree. I'm going to be paying attention to that. Drake Thomas, I really like what I saw from him in the last games, flying into the back. I noticed him twice. One got called back on a penalty, but I saw him twice in the backfield, and that was his MO coming out of college, is that his run support is very good, and he definitely showed that off in that last game. He was really good. And I think Curtis Bolton has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, he's a guy that a lot of us kind of just, don't really look at him as he's just kind of forgotten. But he has performed well in preseason. I'd say the three guys who surprised me the most and have played better than I anticipated was him. Tima's another guy who I think he's actually been the best safety in preseason, if I'm going to be honest. And oh God, I had the third name, but I just forgot. So those are two guys that I've been impressed. Malcolm Kuntz. He's a guy who I remember when we first shared a panel together. We were talking about it on
you weren't feeling Kuntz. You weren't feeling Kuntz.
It's not that I wasn't feeling Kuntz, but I was saying, like, I remember when we shout out to Leo and Spotlight, Nothing But Raiders podcast. We were talking about Malcolm Kuntz. This is going back a few months ago, and I said it there, and I've said it a few times. Of all the players on our roster, I believe Malcolm Kuntz needs the biggest preseason in order to make the final roster, because he's to me, the signs are all there that he's been on the outside looking in, and it's not through lack of effort. I do see that when he takes the field. This preseason, you know what? I think he's played well enough to find his way on that final 53-man roster. I think I like what I see. He's been getting pressures. He's been going after the quarterback, getting the QB hits. Granted, he hasn't finished. I don't think he's got any sacks, but he's been getting in the backfield consistently and doing his thing. Yeah, Kuntz. Has he got any sacks?
I don't know, but I know
he has one sack.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I know he's got
okay, so he's got one, but he's been the guy that I've noticed a lot getting into the backfield, causing all kinds of disruption. So I like what I see from Kuntz. I believe he will make the final roster. I think him and Willis might be the fourth and fifth guy. I mean, if we carry five, if we only go with four, it's going to be a toss up between those two, I believe. And Rochelle will be the guy on the practice squad, but. I guess those are three.
I like Rochelle too, man. He's just one of those guys, the hungry guys that just comes to work, and he plays, man. He seems like he has a good attitude. But rundown, what do you think, man?
So me personally, I agree with you for the linebacker. Loved what I saw from Drake Thomas. Like I was saying on my channel, what I saw from Drake Thomas is what I wanted to see from Amari Burney. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not what I'm seeing. But at the end of the day, that's good. That's a good battle to watch. Curtis Bolton is definitely doing his thing. I'm looking at the O-line too. You know what I mean? Because they're looking at Justin Haran and Alex Bars as those swing guard and tackle. But at the end of the day, if it's up to me, I would keep Dalton Wagner and McClendon Curtis. You know what I mean? They're younger. They have more profile. At the end of the day, like, I could work with them athletically more than I could do with Justin Haran.
He was looking bad. I think he was looking bad.
I didn't like it at all.
Are you talking about McGlennon Curtis?
No, Justin Haran.
Haran wasn't good at all. He was terrible. You know what I mean?
I like what I see from Wagner, but like McGlennon Curtis, I got to be honest, I haven't noticed him much. Maybe for the right reason. I don't see it from him as I see it from Wagner. I think Wagner's a guy who has a real chance. McGlennon Curtis, practice squad to me, best case scenario for him.
I agree. He ain't super flash, but if it was between keeping Bars or him, I would keep him only because it's like he's younger, one, and there's more to work with. Like there's more upside than I have with Alex Bars. And Alex Bars is terrible. Like I'm sorry to say, but I don't like him at all. You know what I'm saying? And a guy that's really disappointed me, honestly, Natane Moody. I ain't seen nothing from him.
Man.
Like, you feel me? I thought he was gonna be like in contention for the starting role.
Me too. Me too. I honestly thought he was gonna slide over to the right guard and maybe win that spot.
That's what
Just
I thought.
because, for one, I just remember him coming out of college, and I remember he was on Denver's practice squad, and I just remember he was just like he was real raw, but he was strong. He was like one of the strongest in the NFL. But I remember seeing tape of him. I think it was against KC or whatever, and he was like handling business, man. It was like with the right coaching, he could be okay, but he's been looking terrible out there.
Yeah,
I've been watching him closely.
And I mean, oh no, go ahead, bro. My bad.
Sorry, I was just going to say real quickly. Van Roten's been performing pretty well. I think he's played himself to the spot, so that's on a positive. Another guy that I've talked about a little bit that I don't believe gets enough credit, but I think he's played well enough, and I hope we keep him on our roster, is Hronis Grasu. I think he's done a really good job as the center. I mean, like, look, he's played pretty much every snap, or most snaps as that center. And like, I know people talk about, oh, we got Parham or even someone else who can play center. No, I would prefer to keep a specialist center like Grasu. He's done a fantastic job in the preseason. And he can play as a guard as well. Like, I would.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Can he bump over to guard? Because he was.
He's nice.
But I would prefer to. I think there's a higher premium for me to keep a specialist center rather than banking on Parham to be that next guy. I don't want Parham to be the next guy at center if something happens to James. I prefer him being an emergency. I wasn't impressed as what he did at center last year. I would rather he honed his craft at guard and stay there. You know what I mean? And have someone as a specialist center be the guy if James goes down to come in. Because I think Grasu's done a fantastic job in preseason.
I agree. I
Yeah.
definitely agree. Another position, though, that I'm watching, too, the corners, too, because I think tomorrow might be the last game that we watch Amik Robertson in a
I think Amik's out of there, man.
You know what I mean? I hope not. You know what I mean? And I love his, his tenacity. I love his attitude. And I always say it, like, I wish I could put that attitude in like a 6'2".
Someone taller.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, the problem with the Meek, and it continues to arise, is he's always in the right place, but he still lets shit happen. Like, at the end of the day, that catch that he gave up, the long catch, just sticks in my mind every time. Like, every time I'm like, all right, what corners have flashed at least this preseason? Like, we're going to see a battle between him, David Long Jr., Duke Shelley still got to do something to really impress at the end of the day. So, like, there's some guys that still got to make the roster, because facing pretty much the way they putting it, facing going to be that next corner in line after Peters, after Hobbs, and after Bennett. Like, that's what we're looking at.
What about my boy Azizi Hearn? I mean, he's a superstar waiting to happen.
Oh,
right?
my God. Oh, my God. I'm like, who is this clown, man? Get him all the way out of here, man.
Get him up out of here. He's the first guy on the cut bus, right?
My
God. Yeah.
Front seat.
Yeah. And so that was a terrible game, bro. That was a terrible game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was messing with you.
No, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I have a question though. Since we're spitballing about the final roster makeup, do you think we'll keep 5 safeties, or do you think we'll only keep 4, and that would leave maybe Tima and Polomau being the guys fighting it out for that final spot? Because I mean, we're not parting ways with Epps, Morig, and Smith, our draft pick. So it's either we keep 5 and keep them both, or one of them's got to go.
I think they keep 5.
Yeah, because I think, for one, I think Teamer brings a lot to the table on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Isaiah, he's I almost think they want to use him in a kind of a hybrid role.
That's what I think too.
More than anything. So I mean, because he specifically put on some muscle. I think he's gonna be the guy that's hopefully he can contain some of these tight ends.
That's what I'm saying.
So we'll see, but no, that, I mean, honestly, I think we go 5, honestly.
Yeah, I think 5.
Who would you, if we were to keep 4, who would be your odd man out? Because it ain't going to be Smith, Ebbs, or Morik, so it's going to be either Polomau or Tima.
Teamer gives you special teams, but Polomau has upside, like actual, like, you feel what I'm saying?
That's
like,
a good way to put it. That's a good way to, because honestly.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't like Teamer. Like Teamer was a guy that I didn't understand why he was still around. I was done with him. But
Right.
Right.
like I feel like he's having a good offseason.
Yeah, I argued that he's been the best safety in the
Yeah.
off season in
Yeah.
preseason. So, like, yeah. Sorry, you guys finished.
No, honestly, I think
I'm
out of
still
those
thinking,
two,
bro, because that's a good question.
that is a good question. I think out of those two, I think
Um,
I'd still let go of Teamer. Honestly, me
yeah.
personally.
I'll give my take quickly. I would keep Tima. And
Okay.
reluctantly, and I will say reluctantly, let go of Polymel, hoping that he clears waivers and we keep him on the practice squad. If we only had to keep 4, I think Team has played well enough to be a depth guy and be a special teams guy because he has been good on special teams. I like his energy. I like, he's a bit of he talks a bit of mess, so I like that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is upside with Polymel. I mean, he did get that pick 6, which was pleasing. You know
that
what I
was
mean?
fire.
But at the same time,
Now
like I
that I
highlighted,
heard,
that was
yeah.
a gift from the gods. You know what I mean? Like any professional defensive back, if they were in that position, should have done what he did. He could have just jogged it back to the end zone and made the play. But he did catch it, so granted, it was good. But just for me, just if I'm going by performance and what I've seen from the eye test in preseason, reluctantly, I'd let go of Polymel, hoping we could stash him on that practice squad. But hopefully we keep 5, right?
Hearing your take, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna keep Polymel, and that's the only reason is I don't think he's gonna clear waivers. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't at all. Like if we let him go,
I think Teamer,
yeah,
Teamer has a better chance of clearing waivers. I think
that's what it is to me.
Is he practice squad eligible, Team?
Oh, that's the question.
Well, they changed the rules though. I think you can keep 4 people regardless of their tenure. So,
okay.
and I think that's a newer rule. And again, I know Randy or Charles spot check me, but yeah, I think you can keep like four guys regardless how old they are.
Okay. Well, whichever way they went, if we only kept 4, I mean, it would suck, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be mad with it. I wouldn't be mad at they cut Polymel and kept Teamer, or they kept Polymel and cut Teamer, whichever the way they went. But hopefully they do indeed keep 5, because I think both those guys have deserved to find their way on the roster. I'm just spitballing just in case we need to make roster spot allowances at other positions, and we might only have enough room for 4.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So another question, just kind of going to, talking about the off season. So now that, the preseason's virtually over, has your grade or your overall thought of the off season changed from how you felt earlier? I know me personally, and again, I was probably, I was in my feelings. And again, I'm one of the guys that I keep it real. And I will always be authentic. And when I'm wrong about something, I'll say I'm wrong, or, like I don't flip flop, for the most part. I just keep it right down the middle.
Right.
I was upset at first, like the draft. I was okay with the draft. Some of the picks, me personally, I was still kind of pissed off about the Waller thing. So like it took me a while to kind of buddy up to Michael Mayer. So early on, I was like, okay, what's going on, guys? Because again, I'm one of the people that liked McDaniels, like Ziegler. I liked the regime from the beginning. But then once the Waller thing happened, I was like, okay, but then, the draft happened. I'm like, all right, we'll see. And then I was just like, for the longest time, I was like, our off season's okay, but I need to see more. But now, as we keep going further, and I'm hearing these things, even like Robert Spillane, I'm hearing about how he is in the locker room. I'm hearing how, Marcus Epps is, in the locker room, like they're real leaders, they're alpha dogs. But when we got them, I wasn't super excited about it. But when you hear why we got them and what they're bringing to the table, my grade went up quite a bit. So I want to know how you guys feel.
I don't think I've really wavered on what I felt like this team could be. Honestly, the preseason is just like confirmed like what I already thought. Like to me, this team is still, if Jimmy stays healthy and plays the whole season, then they could sneak out 9 to 10 wins. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they can do that. But if Jimmy is out, probably see 7 wins again. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe 8. At the end of the day, the team is still cool. You know what I mean? But the culture is shifting. That's what it is. At the end of the day, we're seeing at least progress and growth. I've still kept it at like a C+. Honestly, now I kind of lied. My shit's kind of like at a B now. Like I give it like a solid B.
Went up a little bit.
Yeah, for the preseason. Went up a little bit because some people are performing better than I thought they would perform, at this stage. So then at this point, I went up just a little bit. But still, I think, this team has the chance to, sneak themselves into playoffs with 10 wins, maybe, if Jimmy stay healthy the whole season. Honestly, like, that's what it is. They may surprise us and get more, but at the end of the day, like, I think this team is still a ways away from really competing. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I think, it's going in the right direction now.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely a lot more confident now than what I was maybe before the off season, heading into the off season, like before free agency. Even free agency for me was underwhelming. Like I wasn't too impressed with it, but like at the same time, I was like, okay, well, look, I'm not looking for them to make moves that are going to take us further in that free agency. I'm looking at the draft. That's to me. I've said it a few times. This year's draft and next year's draft are going to dictate where our team goes in the future.
Correct.
They're probably the two most important draft classes for the next, as long as I've been a Raider. You know what I mean? Like we got to get it right for the most part. And, they're either going to take us to the next level and keep us there for the next while, or we're going to stay in the Stone Age if we flame out more than we succeed. You know what I mean? It's going to be one or the other. But I like what we did in the draft. I'm trying to stay. I'm going to try and stay patient. Like for me, like there's a lot of young guys on the team, and I like that we've got a young roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And I'm not expecting an immediate return. If we can get an immediate return and a quicker return, and more, and players are actually turn out to be just as good, if not better than I expected, sooner rather than later, then fantastic. We might be able to do some things this year. I'm not going to give a final grade, being that, like, for me, I have to see what they do on the field. You know what I mean? Like all these teams can look good in the offseason, the preseason, or they might even look bad, you know what I mean? And then it actually turns out, hey, we're actually winning, you know what I mean? Like all these moves and everything might be looking good now, but it might not translate to the regular season, kind of like what happened last year. So there's no grade from me. I'm just going to wait and see how it shakes out. And then that's when I can give a grade and give my final. So
it doesn't really have to be a grade, but as far as just your thoughts on it, like your feelings, towards
my confidence level is definitely higher now than what it was before.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's funny because, again, I used to, I'm one of those people that on social media that like you just can't talk crazy to, because I'll talk crazy back. I'm still learning how to turn the other cheek type of thing. Because people be on social media talking crazy, when we're debating, and so many people, with the whole hating on McDaniels, hating on Ziegler and all that stuff. And I used to always combat that. But now it's funny because, everyone was talking about, oh, we're the Raiders, we shouldn't do the Patriot way and all this. But now you see that the way that they're bringing this structure that they're bringing here, to me, it makes sense. And you could tell it's going to work, and it's going to work, with longevity. This isn't just a quick hitter cookie cutter setup that they got. They're really trying to build a foundation that's going to have longevity to it. So I just think it's funny because a lot of people are changing their tune now. So I don't know if you guys are hearing that.
I've been consistent with my displeasure with McDaniel, and I've stayed that way. I've maintained that I was never happy about the signing, but I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna roll with him, and hopefully he can instill confidence in me and be the guy moving forward. I mean, he didn't have a good year last year for me. Like the blame wasn't just on Derek Carr. I also look at the coaching stuff. I didn't think they did a good job, but here we are. It's a new season. It's the second year. The signs are there. It's all looking positive so far. If this translates into the regular season, cool. You know what I mean? I'm happy to move forward with him. Like, to me, he hasn't proven yet to be a good head coach, but I'm hoping that changes with our team moving in the right direction and winning some games. If this season is a success, hey, I'm all aboard. So
yeah. No, No, I agree. I think the same thing. I think the difference is, people always, like you can look at it and be like, okay, I don't know if McDaniel's going to be a good head coach yet. He needs to prove it. And I'm all good about that. But I just hate the people that automatically say he's going to be bad based off of 13 years ago in Denver, when he had that, or even just his last year, because they think that, you can really judge a coach, by a year and a half or whatever. Like, I really think that, you need to give them the same patience that Kyle Shanahan had.
And this is
exactly. Years. Belichick sucked his first few years. So, give them the chance to build something. And then if, year 3, if they can't do nothing, then let's wipe our hands clean and keep it moving. But I'm all about, patience. Give the guy patience, give him a chance to build. If he doesn't do it, then cut him.
Yeah, which is what I'm doing.
I agree, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're never going to be successful if we have a whole bunch of one year hitter quitters. You feel what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, that's not a sustainable culture for success, and that's why we've continued to lose throughout these years, because we haven't had one stable culture. We've had a number of people coming here with a number of different philosophies, with a number of different, I'm going to draft this motherfucker, don't work out next year. Now a whole new coaching staff come in, have a whole new philosophy on how they want to do things. So at the end of the day, we have to have at least give them 3 years. You feel what I'm saying? Give them 3 years to see if they building something. If they continuously get better each year, we can see at least some growth. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's see if they have some growth in them. Now, if he was just like complete shit, like we know what complete terrible looks like at the end of the day. Yes, last year was bad, but it was a complete and utter disaster. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there are some things to build on.
A lot of games. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Those things to build on. So let's see if he's built upon those things this year, at least to a degree. And in the third year, which in the third year is where we can say, okay, this is the year where you have every motherfucker you want. You have the money to spend in free agency next year. You're probably going to have a pretty cool draft, whatever the case is. At the end of the day, the third year is the year. But this year, let's see if they can build upon some things.
No, I agree. Hopefully we can find success this year and moving forward.
Right.
I don't want to speak this into existence. I'm just spitballing here. But yeah, I agree. Give him 3 years to really give him a final shake, and if he's a good head coach or not, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But is there a worst? I'm trying not to speak this into existence. But is there a worst case scenario this year where it's like, right, we got to move on from this guy? Like, say we go 3 wins or 4 wins.
Do
you think that would be enough to say no? We got to go. He got to go.
Yeah.
To me, it. I mean, because you got to be a results driven. No matter what it is, you got to look at the results. But it also, I mean,
what would be your bottom? What would be your bottom floor?
Even if Aiden O'Connell went in there, you shouldn't be winning 3 games. That's regardless of the fact. Even if Aiden O'Connell went in there, you should win more than 3 games.
Yeah.
Bro.
Hey, I see that too. I'm just asking the question. What would be
I agree.
What would be your bottom floor to part ways with him? Year
3,
2?
Yeah. 3 wins. 3? Anything less than what you had last year, like I don't.
So if you had another 6-win season, you'd say that no, can't see that again. We got to go. You got to go.
I would say again, it's gonna the
with
eye
Jimmy
test.
As the starter, then yeah. With Jimmy as the full-time, like 1 through week 17 starter, yeah. But if it's Aiden O'Connell going in there and we see some things, but he's struggling and shit, maybe you'd be like, damn, do we give him another year? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's where it gets tricky at the end of the day. But
because the thing is, you gotta really hold McDaniels accountable, because Jimmy's his guy. He picked Jimmy.
Right.
So therefore, all those excuses, those are out the window now. Like, you pick Jimmy, that's your guy.
Right.
So, I expect us to be better. He kind of got a freebie last year, with, we had a tough year, but I think the eye test shows that we're better than what our record shows. But, I want to see some progression. But yeah, if if we win like 5 games or something like that, and Jimmy's starting the whole season, and
giving
Jimmy
him a
just
third year.
thinking up, we gotta get rid of him, man.
And you didn't put O'Connell in, like that's what I'm saying. Like if we're on the track, right, of winning 5 games or whatever, and it's going deep into the season, and we're trash or whatever, worst case scenario, which I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but worst case scenario, right? And you didn't put O'Connell in, and you just rolled with Jimmy for the rest of the season, and he's ass, like he's definitely got to go.
I don't think that would happen though. Like if we completely shit the bed with Jimmy G, you've got no choice. You got to throw the youngster out there and see what happens.
Oh no, he
fails. If he succeeds, we can move forward with him with some confidence. But yeah, I was just asking the question, no,
that's a good one.
That's a great question.
You give coaches 3 years, but like in their second year, what's the bottom floor? You know what I mean?
Right,
like if they don't get it done, then we gotta get him up out of here.
Right.
No, I agree. So I do want to talk about my boy real quick. So one thing that I've been asking people, and again, everybody knows how I feel about JJ, but I do want to ask. So at this point, if JJ does sign with us, do you guys think we'll get $10 million worth of production from him? Like, do you think his mind will be in it? He'll be motivated? And I'm not asking if, we'll talk later if, what you think we should do with him. But just from a standpoint of, like, him coming in, is he going to be motivated? Like, what do you guys think?
You want
me personally, I don't.
You want me to take it first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Like, and Raider fans got to be honest with ourselves. You really expect this man to just show up week 1 and give you the same production that he's been giving you like this whole time from last year? Like, and he ain't been practicing? That's just one. And 2, it's kind of a slap in the face to everybody that has been practicing, although we ain't been, we ain't been liking what we've seen, but at the end of the day, they've been there. You feel what I'm saying? So it's kind of a slap in the face. It's like, all right, well, he's back. Fuck y'all. We don't care what y'all was doing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. We gonna see whatever he was working out. God knows where. Hopefully he is in shape. You feel what I'm saying? But we gonna see. We gonna roll with him and whatever the fuck he gonna do. At the end of the day, of course, I want him here. But let's be honest with ourselves. What more can the Raiders do to tell him, like, all right, bro, like, we want you here? They just denied the trade request. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, they just said, all right, that's basically them saying, all right, well, we telling you, like, this is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we want you here. We're not gonna do you how the culture doing Jonathan Taylor, and that's a messy situation. Like, we actually want you in the building. So at this situation, at this point right here, it's about pride on both sides. You feel what I'm saying? He's doing that whole social media bullshit he doing. You feel what I'm saying? And the Raiders are sitting there standing pat saying, this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. So at the end of the day, I think that both sides need to just sit down and come to something. Talk about whatever the future is going to hold. If he wants to leave, he's going to leave. Or if he wants to sit here and sign that contract, he's going to sign that contract. That's just what it's going to be.
What do you think, AK? That's a good point, man.
Good takes there, Renz.
Appreciate it.
I guess just for me, where I stand, like, I think, look, I'm not going to expect him to produce just as well as he did last year, even though I guess with a price tag like that, your expectation for production is still going to be high. Like, I still believe him coming into the team, he's going to be very productive. Like, he is one of the better running backs in the league. Now, I hear what you're saying. Like, the other guys have been in the room, they've been learning the playbook and all that. But it still goes back to what I was saying. Like, their performances in the preseason have been underwhelming, to say the least.
Definitely.
And I am not sold on these guys moving. If they show me more to be confident about, then I'd feel better about it. You know what I mean? But they just haven't. They're so underwhelming to me. Zamir White, he's supposed to be the bell cow. If we're not rolling with Josh Jacobs, then I'm not sold on him at all. Sincere McCormick, I like his pass protection, but he's not shaking people out of their boots. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing it from him either. So I do expect a high production if Jacobs does come back. I mean, he is putting in the work. Like, yeah, he's trolling on his IG, but he's also putting up videos of him staying game ready. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he is. I'm still confident they're gonna work something out. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna find a middle ground. hopefully sooner rather than later. Something that's gonna he's willing to accept, and that's going to keep the Raiders happy. That would be my ideal scenario. We'll wait and see. I'm going to stay in wait and see mode. Nothing has changed with me, but I just wish that these other guys showed me more to be confident with rolling into the regular season if we don't have Jacobs available. But the bottom line is they haven't for me yet. So
I will interject this as well. Just looking at how McDaniels gets down in his previous stints as a coach or, offense coordinator, they love that running back by committee. And at the end of the day, yes, Jacobs is special. We all know that. But at the end of the day, he's coming back. And if he don't come back before week 1 and he's just coming back in week 1, or God forbid, he come back week 2 because he tried to prove a point week 1 saying y'all need me, and then he comes back week 2, you really think they're going to give him 25 carries straight off the street? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, they're not going to do that. Like, and so at minimum, his production will go down because they're not just going to give him 25 carries straight off the wherever he's been. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they're going to ease him into it. And we've seen how they ease players into things. Like, they've already done it this offseason. So at the end of the day, they're going to ease him into it. So we're not going to see hella production whenever he comes back. You feel what I'm saying? He's going to get.
No, yeah, I agree. I think his production this last year was heightened because it's a contract year, but it's not like that is not uncommon. I mean, a lot of players on contract years, they step their game up. I mean, that's just the nature of what a lot of players do. Right. However, I maybe I worded it wrong because I won't say production, but I would say, will he have the same impact? Because again, I think Jacobs can still have a season like last season as far as his impact, even with the committee. And I won't even say committee, but at least another running back that can still handle business too. Because my thing is, we don't need him to be a bell cow, and I've always said that, but I still want him to be the featured back. And I keep going back to the example of Cleveland Browns, how they did, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but they still pay Nick Chubb like, a top running back that he is.
Okay.
I think they gave him $12 million for 3 years or whatever. But the reason I bring it up,
you feel what I'm saying? Like, look at that contract. Didn't the Raiders offer Jacob something like that? If I'm not mistaken,
I've only heard.
I don't think it's the amount that's the problem. Is for me, it's the longevity. But sorry to interject. Like, you just mentioned Kareem Hunt, and somebody in the chat, Randy, salute to you, just asked, "What about Kareem Hunt? Do we think we should consider him?" The Raiders, and I've highlighted this a few times because I've seen other people mention Kareem Hunt. Why don't we get him? The Fred Biletnikoff rule with Mark Davis. There is a 00 Jim Auto tolerance to domestic violence.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about what happened to Fred Biletnikoff's daughter?
No, but I heard that. But I heard Al Davis don't play that. What happened?
Al Davis and Mark Davis are very good friends with Biletnikoff. Apparently, his daughter passed away due to domestic violence.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So there is a zero tolerance to that, and that is why Kareem Hunt got cut from the Chiefs way back when, is because he was actually one of the better running backs in the league at the time. They parted ways with that domestic violence incident. That's why he went to the Browns on a very, very cheap deal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For a player of his caliber, and it was still be able to succeed. But with the Raiders and I roll with that. I'm good with them not having a zero tolerance to domestic violence. So it's like I said, to quote either Mark Davis or Al Davis said it, there is a 00 Jim Auto tolerance to domestic violence. So that for me takes Kareem Hunt off the table.
No, that's a good take. That's a good take.
Great take.
Because my biggest thing is I just want him to, I know Charles, he said, stop falling in love with players. I'm not falling in love with players. I'm all about still taking care of the players that, are homegrown, that you draft, guys that want to be a Raider, because I've watched this team for so long have guys, they bring in these free agents because everybody's like, oh, well, just go get, the market is so low, you can get any running back, and bring them in. But I want a guy that wants to be a Raider, but he wants to be taken care of. He got the tattoo. He wants, I mean, I don't know. To me, he just has a mentality of a Raider. He has that dog mentality. You know, that's why Devontae loves him. That's why Max loves him. Like that's why the team voted him to be a captain mid-season, because there's something about him that he just brings to that locker room, man. So I think I don't know, man. And again, I don't want to continue, beating a dead horse on how I feel about it, but I was just curious on what you guys thought about, because me personally, I just don't know how petty he's going to be. And that's kind of reason I brought it up, because, if a man feels disrespected, he literally could get to the point where he's just petty and everyone's like, oh, well, he's not going to let, $10 million go down the drain. I don't think he'll do that. I've said it many times that if he really wanted to be petty, he'll sign the tag the day before the Broncos game. And the thing is, he'll play, but if he's sore or anything, he's not going to be out there. He's going to, he'll go out there when he's feeling 100%, and we'll get a shell of what we get. And I hope he doesn't do that. But when you get to a point where you're feeling disrespected and you're petty, it can get to that, man. It can get to that.
Yeah. Hey, Greg is funny. He said Al would have traded him.
He said Al would have traded him?
Yeah.
No, Al would have paid him.
Man.
Al would have took care of him.
Honestly,
he probably would have overpaid him, to be honest.
Honestly, bro, and this is what the sad part is, man. This is what the sad part is. As much as I love Josh Jacobs, we have to just admit the facts, bro. He plays running back. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, and I understand when you say you have to take care of your homegrown and you have to take care of, the people who are there. But at the end of the day, bro, like, they're running this organization how we've been longing for somebody to run this organization. You feel what I'm saying? Like, smart with money. You got to be smart with money. And although there are, certain things they could have done better with this contract negotiation if they wanted him long term, at the end of the day, we all know this roster ain't where it need to be yet. And to do that, we need the bread and we need to think long term. So at the end of the day, that's what they doing. While still thinking now, they still thinking long term. So it sucks to say that, he might not be here after this year, which I don't think he will be. At the end of the day, I think this is his last year in a Raiders uniform, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, they're giving him a nice contract. It's not like they completely shitting on him. You feel what I'm saying? 10 mil is pretty cool. Can probably bump it up to 11, maybe 12 if they get some incentives in there. So we'll see what happens. But I just think this is gonna come to a head regardless. He gonna have to play, or he gonna miss money. That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's like I said though. I don't think it's the money. It's for me, it's always been about the longevity, and that's what him and a lot of these other running backs are trying to fight for. Is that there's no security after this 1-year contract. I mean, if he doesn't play as well, or if he gets hurt, he's on his own. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to accept a cheap deal. You know what I mean? Like there's no security. Like, I mean, like, with guys like Max Crosby and Hunter Renfrow, they got their contracts, they got their security. You know what I mean? Whereas Jacobs performed at that elite level last year, he didn't get that. And I don't blame him for sitting out and trying to do what's best for his future. You know what I mean? But I do get your point. Like, it's a business at the end of the day. Yeah. I get that, and I understand that. But like, it just goes to my point. Like, I just wish we had guys in the room that I could be confident with if we're not going to run with Jacobs. Because if we did have some guys, like if Zamir White proved to be a little bit better than what he is, or any of these guys, then I'd be okay, cool. I'd be more confident to move into the regular season with this running back by committee. But I am not sold on any of them. Like, there's not one guy who I'm like looking at, but we got something with him. Not one of them.
What about this?
Not yet.
What about this that Boyd put? That looks scary, doesn't it? Zamir, Bolden.
It's not the running back. It's not a running back by committee that's going to put the fear of God in anybody.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. But at the end of the day, when you looked at when Josh McDaniels was successful, and this is the crazy thing about this situation. Everything that you're saying is valid. Everything, like, we're all making valid points because it's all true at the end of the day. From the Jacob side, I completely understand it. Like, and everybody should too. You feel what I'm saying? You want that security. And from the team business side, you understand it too. Because it's like, all right, well, we got to save money. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we need money to make more moves. That's just what the NFL is today. So it's the sad reality of it, and
No, that is, that's true.
that's just
for
where
me,
we
for
at.
me, the biggest thing is like when we talk about money, and we're about to wrap it up because we're at time, but and I appreciate you guys. You know, when we talk about money, and I know I keep saying it, I know I feel like a broken record, man, but you know, we always talk about like we don't want to give this big bag to running backs, but like honestly, we're talking about a difference of a few $1 million, where okay, we can think okay, a few $1 million, but when we got someone like Brandon Bolden that's making, you know, 2.2 million, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just that 2.2 million could go to Jacobs and probably make him happy. Like a difference of like we may lose Jacobs off of literally a difference of maybe $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I mean, and I'm talking about for like a 3-year deal or whatever. Like they might be okay to give him a, you know, a 10 per year for 3 years. Maybe he wants 12 for 3 years or whatever. But we're talking about, you know, a few $1 million. Don't spend that money on Brandon
11
Parker.
wide receivers.
Yeah, on 11 wide. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's when it kills me when you see stuff like that. Like
It's
I don't know.
understandable, bro. It's understandable.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's all valid from there at the end of the day, and it's like, you know, maybe they get enough, maybe they get some more money at the cut day. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
at the
I was
cut
just
day,
thinking that. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah.
you feel what I'm saying? That's what they're waiting for. They re-up on some more cash, and then at the end of the day, we get a deal going in. But it's like, you know, it just sucks. It's got to be this way because you could just see it coming to a head, bro. Like hopefully they get a long-term deal done, and then they do some different shit that other teams ain't doing. You feel what I'm saying? But
Well, they can't now though.
I honestly think he would settle for a 2-year deal. I mean, I know for certain that he got a 1-year offer, but it goes to my point. What I keep saying, I don't think it was the money. I think it's the longevity of it, and I think he wouldn't be overly over the moon with 2 years, but I think that would be enough to find a middle ground.
At least I'm there. You feel what I'm saying? At least I'm there another year.
Right,
man. Shout out to Charles Washington. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you, man. That is my guy. But so the last thing before we go, there was a really, I mean, it's still kind of on JJ. The report that Miami expressed some interest on JJ. Again, I know they shut it down, but what's your thoughts on that? I thought that was kind of interesting because I've been telling people that people act like there's not going to be a market for JJ when he is a free agent. I think for one, there will be a market, of course, because he's in his prime. He's a badass. Yeah. But for two, if he does become a free agent, he's going to take a discount to go to a good team. And I don't think people don't realize that. It's either like free agents are either going to get the bag at a bad team, and that's what we had to do for Raiders for so long. Like if we wanted a free agent, we had to overspend, you know, to get them. But that same player to go play for the Eagles or KC,
the Chiefs.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like honestly, like I really think, and again, it goes back to how petty he is. What if JJ does become a free agent next year and he's like, hey, give me $6 million a year. I'm playing with Mahomes. Let's get it.
I'm just gonna stay in wait and see mode. I mean, you just spoke of it, like the fact that we shut that trade offer down pretty quickly. It's, you know, it leads us to allude that like they are committed to trying to work things out. You know what I mean? Like if you weren't committed to trying to work it out, they would have entertained the offer. It seems like they were quick to shut it down. So I'm gonna stay as I will. Just nothing's changed. Stay the course, wait and see what happens, and hopefully we get this deal done sooner rather than later, and we do see Josh Jacobs back in Raider colors and back to performing much like he has done in previous years for us.
Yeah, I think that, you know, this was like because honestly, what we're seeing right now is like a game of chicken between Jacobs and you know, the Raiders. Like, all right, who gonna move first? Who gonna budge first? At the end of the day, this was
the team usually wins, though.
You feel what I'm saying? But this is the little thing where it's like, all right, bro, like a team is asking for you, but we said no. You feel what I'm saying? You know, we don't know if the team put this out there or whatever the case, whoever put this out there. But at the end of the day, like we're looking and saying, okay, they're actually sitting there and denying teams and saying he's not available. And you seeing how other situations with other teams played out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, at least we handle it on the hush hush. And at the end of the day, whatever leaked, it leaked that saying that, you know, we want to keep you. So they made their move and they saying that they want to keep him. So now it's his move now. That's what they saying.
For sure. For sure. Well, guys, I really appreciate it, man. You guys really, you know, you really knocked it out, man. So I definitely appreciate all that. Make sure you guys go support both of them. Make sure you go subscribe to both of them. AK, where can they get your? Oh, there it is. Yeah, just go ahead and.
So you got my name up on the screen. So if you just YouTube search that Afakasi Raider, AFAKASI Raider. Yep. I'm the only one there, so that's my YouTube channel. And
talk about your content. Talk about your content. You do.
So I'm a Raider content creator. I do live shows. I create some shorts. I do a bit of gaming. I was active on the Madden scene last year. We'll get back to that in time. But yeah, you know, I'm just another Raider channel, just trying to find his way. You know, we're still small time. We're just growing one step at a time. You know, just having fun along the way. And for me, being in Australia and pretty much on my own little lonely bubble, like for the longest time during the course of my Raider fandom, like I watch games on my own. I don't have people where I can commune and like have that same passion and energy that I do for the Raiders. Yeah. So this is therapeutic for me, and it's good to commune and talk to like-minded people who bleed silver and black just as much as I do. Because I got silver and black blood pumping through my veins, and I dare anybody to question that just because I'm American.
I love it.
Actual.
I love it.
Actual.
Run down. Where can they find you, man?
Man. First of all, man, I believe I subscribed to you. If I didn't, I'm definitely subscribing to you, man. So I know what you're talking about, man. But at the end of the day, man, they can find me. You know, if you on YouTube, it's at the Raider Rundown. If you on Instagram, at the Raider Rundown too. Same thing on TikTok. You feel me? If I'm on there. Talk about my content. You know, I'm going live every Thursdays. I usually have some cool guests. This past Thursday, I had Matt Holder. You know what I mean? So we was talking some Raider ball. Yeah, appreciate you. He was giving me some insight. You know what I mean? So if you ain't see that, go ahead, check into it. He give you a little insight on what the team is thinking, you know, going in right now. Tomorrow, you know, I'll be doing live watch party. So tomorrow we're going to do another live watch party with my mans, you know, Protect the Shield. So y'all pull up tomorrow for the game preseason. You know what I mean? Even my man right here, if you want to pull up, man, you know, have a good time, watch the game with us. Let's do it, man. Let's, you know,
say less.
You know, we having a good time. And, you know, I drop content daily pretty much on my channel. So if you're looking for some more Raider insight, you know, if you like what I'm talking, if you like that Raider speak, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, man. I appreciate
Consider yourself subscribed.
Man,
my man. Yeah. Good.
And great, because I just got your notification. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yes. Well, guys, like I always say, Shield Squad, I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys coming through. Like I always say, players and coaches come and go, but we must always protect the Shield. You guys be safe. Happy weekend. Let's get it.